You know, folks are pretty quick to pass quite a bit of judgment. You know, I'm not wrong. And a lot of times it can be out of jealousy, and then sometimes it's out of, well, somebody else just screwed up and they noticed it. Now, if you're tinkering with some of these old cars, I got a couple of tips for you that are pretty easy, and it'll make quite a few folks envious of what you got up under the hood. Okay, one thing I am going to warn you about through this process is it's going to take you some time. Sometimes the money's there too, but often, more so than not, there is a boatload of time in it. And it's because you have to think things through sometimes. If you just like slam stuff together, y'all know, it looks like you just slammed it together. And that's okay if that's the goal that you're going for. You know, sometimes the opportunity isn't, or the thing that you're trying to accomplish isn't like aesthetics, it's for function. So you just like make it happen, and that's cool. But if you're not, you're trying to make it look like something when you're done, well, it takes time. This is a 67 GTX that we've been working on for a little while. And our goal with it is we've completely refurbished everything, but up under the hood, yeah, this is where the magic happens, if you know what I mean. And we won't, so whenever somebody pops the hood, their jaw drops and they're like, dang, that looks nice. You know what I'm talking about, because you've seen the ones that somebody does it and you're like, ooh, what happened? Does it even work? Yeah, you get it. Now, this Camaro over here behind us, I want to show it to you. It's pretty nice and tidy up under the hood. Once you see this one here, it'll kind of get you to going like, your thought process will kind of be put into motion. And the next thing you know, you'll start coming up with a plan. So let's show you this one real quick. Now, we've done some work. We didn't do the entire thing by any means, but up under the hood of this car, it's got a late model LS motor in it. And you know, with LS engines, everybody knows that they are all the craze, and they will be here to stay for sure. But one thing that is definitely difficult to do is to make them look good. A lot of times, you know, when you see these cars or these engines in a car or truck from the factory, you know what they have? They've got a giant engine cover covering up all that ugly. So whenever you pluck one of them things out, a lot of times those plastic pieces get thrown in the trash. And then now you got to start making all those connections. And it wasn't, let's say, engineered to fit a 71 Camaro. This is engineered to fit something 2000-ish and something late model. So you got to spend your time running and routing your wires and your hoses and all that kind of thing. And when you really do it and spend it the right amount of time on it, well, it looks like something. It looks safe, and you usually don't have any issues. Now with this one, you can tell that it's pretty nice. Everything's all nice and tidy. And also with this car being white, the firewall and the inner fenders, well, that makes stuff stand out. If this thing was black up under the hood, a lot of times that stuff kind of disappears. So extra measures had to be taken with this thing. And you can see there may be a few things that people don't like. They don't like the colored wires back here in the back. And I get that. But the guy who owns this car, he really kind of wanted to see that stuff. He said, man, that kind of makes me think of like it's mechanical. I said, I get it. So we'll tidy up some of it, but not all of it. And there again, that just is some of that plan you've got to get together before you get into your project. So here we are with this 67 GTX behind me. Our plan with it is to make it look as best as we can, but the folks who own it, they're okay with it being somewhat OE looking. So that means if there is some wires that are being seen, that's okay. We don't have to go through the effort of hiding each and every one of them. But to give you kind of a little rundown of what the car is we're working on, let me give you a little nickel tour, if you will. What we've done on this thing, we've done some sheet metal work, we've painted it, we've done the interior on it, we put fancy new suspension up under it. It's got a Riley Motorsports rear suspension and front suspension, so it's 4-link coilover and all. It's got Willwood brakes all the way around it. Up on the inside of this thing, it's got all new interior. We're waiting on a special dash bezel that's over there that they don't make anymore because they broke the die. So the only option we had is to send it out to up north somewhere at this very expensive place to refurbish it. But you can't put the original one in it with it looking like it does. Now we're also going to be putting some bolstered seats in it, some custom original style bolstered seats in it. Now all the chrome and bright work in this car has been taken care of, and we put a new headliner in it, and woo, boys and girls, that was a task in this car for some reason. Now we've also done all the bright work, had a bunch of that stuff plated, had some reproduction parts, of course, that we picked up from my buddy Steven's Performance down there in Anderson, Alabama. Y'all know the big Mopar salvage yard that's the world's largest. And we installed a vinyl top on it back there. Now up under here, it's got an all special spruced up 440. Now this isn't a numbers matching car. It is originally a GTX, but this motor is one that come out of another project from the people who we picked the car up from. And what we've done on it, it's got a Shacklet machine out of Nashville, built the engine for us. It's aluminum head, 440. We've got the Sniper 2 fuel injection unit. It's got all their new fancy electronics and stuff going with it. It's got the Holley fuel tank that's in the, with the pump that's in the tank back in the back. It's got power disc brakes on it. And some of the wiring, you guys may be like, "Whoo, man, that looks kind of rough." Well, we're still in the process, so don't hate on me too much. We'll still come back and loom all this stuff up, but I want to make sure that the engine runs, operates as it should, and then we can come in and tidy that stuff up. And up here on the front, of course, that's not done because it doesn't have the turn signals and headlights and etc. and etc. etc. Now, we also running a Billet Specialties belt drive, big cooling fans, and it gets a little tight, but we really try to tidy everything up. You know, simple things like you can buy hoses that have 90-degree bends in them. Instead of just stretching one of them ones across there, this kind of makes it look a little more purposeful. And then things aren't all that expensive from the parts store, but you just got to know they exist and then go find them. Now, what we're going to be working on today is running the plug wires. Now, on a Mopar, they usually have all these fancy brackets. There's like a 6-piece set or something. And they don't really work with what we've got now because, well, this is aftermarket parts and those stock brackets. Plus, when you combine them with those headers, that's what threw the giant monkey in the wrench, or wrench, what, you know, yeah, monkey wrench into the whole machine. So we had to get a little creative. Well, we're going to have to, I guess you could say. Yeah, because I want these things to look like they belong. I don't want them just like drip all across here every which way, same way over there. One is because it looks bad, and then two, y'all know what's up. That stuff usually leads to problems. You start burning plug wires and so on and so forth. So let me show you what my solution is. What I end up having to do is getting 2 different sets of plug wires. And the reason for it is some of them have straight boots and some of them have 90-degree boots. And you guys may be saying, "Oh, you can, you know." Well, you really can't buy just the ends. I mean, you can, but they're like stupid expensive. And it was actually cheaper just to buy 2 sets that come pre-made on this end, and then we'll have to cut the fit here on the other side. And I also picked up a set of wire loom little things, spark plug wire looms. I got these from Summit Racing, and they had a couple of different ones, so I ordered them in to see which ones I like the best. And these were the least, or the most complimentary. Yes, that word, complimentary. And we wound up having to do a little bit of some fab work to make these things work for our application. Whenever you order your kit up, a lot of times these things come with some hardware, which it wasn't this hardware. It'll come with some shims and their bracketry and all the little diddly-doos that fit on here and clamp your spark plugs and so on and so forth. Now this kit came with 4 little plastic sleeves, and these are 2 of them that I put together. Because with my crazy header set up over there, that tube that's so fat and runs across the top, well, when you go to put this thing in, you run into a clearance problem. Field trip, we just take this thing over here, and this is a little different because it's a Mopar instead of a small block Chevy is because it's wider on the front. Now, when you go to set this thing in there, you'll notice that it sits right on top of the darn header. And we have about, I don't know, an inch worth of clearance. That's where that shim would come in. And I didn't want a chance just bolting these things on there, because y'all know what happens with headers and other metallic pieces that get close to it. Well, they get to like 9 bagillion degrees. So we wound up putting all 4 spacers together, and it brought it up here, which is a little high, but it's just what it's going to have to be. So I wound up taking those 4 and putting them together and using some heat shrink like you would use on a battery cable with the adhesive in it to glue them together. And once you put them on there, you don't have to worry about trying to hold all those pieces on and them falling apart. And 2, well, mainly that's the main reason. Well, since I needed 2 more, I wound up using some heavy wall aluminum tubing, and I painted it black. In all reality, once you bolt these things together, well, you'll never see them. So you don't have to worry about, you know, I mean, I guess you could write to the company and get 2 more of these, but that's just a whole lot of extra work. And if I wouldn't ever told anybody, most people would never know. Now, I did just grab some hardware from out of the bolt bin, and these gold ones aren't going to work in that thing. So for mock-up purposes, they will, and I'll just have to get some fancy ones to kind of dress things up, probably some ARPs or something. So let's go ahead and install these things, get them into place. Not much here. Slide this thing onto there, slide this one onto there, and then poke it down here into the valve cover. That little simple heat shrink makes all the difference. Next side. Same process. And then finagle them down in here. This one's a little tighter because we got that big old booster in the way. All right. With them things tight, the next thing you're going to need to know is your firing order of your distributor, and you got to start routing your wires. Now, once you figure that out, the way I suggest it is really start with 1 wire at a time and kind of make it start doing its thing. Sometimes it's best to go from the longest wire, meaning the one furthest away from your distributor, but it's not necessarily mandatory. And you have to start figuring out how your plan of attack is, like how you want the wires to look and how you want them to run. So with us, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start routing my wires and get all of them up here. And then once we get them up to here, we can terminate it that way. Now, depending on if you're going to need a 90-degree or a straight boot, well, that all is determined by the application of where the header is or the spark plug is and your variables. Like back here in the back, we've got a spark plug that you can kind of see down in here. But if you put a straight plug wire on it, well, what's going to happen is it will run into and hit that steering shaft. And I don't want the steering shaft as it's rolling around bumping into that plug wire, because it could cause an accident, you could cause the plug wire to get chewed up, so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, you get down off in here, well, you can't really put a 90-degree on them because they will just basically turn into the header. This big one is kind of the problem that we have. If we put a straight one on it, you can run it up and then loop it around. That's what we're going to do on this side. And over here, it's kind of the same way. We can put a 90 down here, and what will be great is once you do, it will come straight up and then it'll run up through here. But it's gonna have to have, it looks like, the straights to kind of come across here, and that's kind of just gonna have to be the best of the bad situation. Now, I normally don't like plug wires at all touching the body, so we're gonna have to just kind of do some fit to see if it's gonna work. We may end up having to do something a little bit different, but this big old header tube right through here is what's causing all that issue. So we're going to have to just kind of work through it. Okay, this is where we're at. I've determined which plug wires I want where, 90s and straights and so on and so forth. And I did hit that little issue that I was talking about of it hitting the inner fender. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. Right over in here on number 4, you'll notice it has a straight plug wire on it, but it's actually hitting the inner fender down there. Now, what we're going to do, of course, is take and run it across there on top of that loom. If I get this wire out of the way, you can see it better. But I don't want it to be shimmying on that thing as this thing's running, because that's a recipe to wear out a plug wire. Basically, you'll just rub the lining off of that thing, plus you'll rub a paint off your fancy car. So what we're going to do is put a 90 on that one along with this one, and we'll just route both of them up here, kind of like the way this one's done right now. Once we loom them up with some nice stuff, it'll look relatively nice and tidy. And we'll probably trim off this little extra ear here for the sake of making it kind of not look as unused, if you will. But I don't know. We'll just have to see once we get there. So it's time to make some plug wire ends. Oh yeah. Wait, nope. We need to do some zip tying right over here. You can zip tie those to this thing, and you can kind of route everything over there. That again helps give you that roadmap of what you're trying to do. And then once you kind of get to here, you can start deciding if you're wanting to wrap it around that side or this side of the distributor and so forth. So let's do some of that. Lockdown time.
Lockdown time.
Well, now we're ready to start terminating our ends. Now, to do that, you need to know the firing order and where number 1 is so that you can basically start executing each one of these wires. We have ours set up at top dead center, and we've got it located, so we're pretty much ready to get started. Now, you don't have to start with number 1. You can start with whichever one you want to, but for the sake of just being, let's say, going off of the firing order, that's where we're going to start. So I've got to lean over here. Now with mine, if you guys noticed, I wound up running all 4 of them symmetrically, is what I'm going to say. All kind of parallel with each other, and I used one of them fancy zip tie wire looms to hold everything in place. And the way these are done, it goes 1, 3, 5, and 7. So whenever you get them kind of laid up here, we're going to end up coming back with some actually molded plastic kind of looms on it. And I don't have them yet. I thought that the spark plug kit would come with them like the old ones used to, but apparently times are tough, and they kind of rolled back that nickel cents worth of wire loom, and they trying to pinch some pennies. Well, nickels now, since they don't really make pennies. So yeah, we're just going to start with number 1 and take care of it. Okay, so number 1 for us is right there, and we're going to get our plug wire, which is this one right here. And I'm going to try to relax that thing just a little bit, kind of like where it would want to be. And then I'm going to fold this thing over. Now, another little tip for you is I usually go about a 1/2 inch further than where the contact is. And then also you want to put a line at the top of this thing. Let's call it like the top of the wire. And what we'll do with that is once we cut this, we know that whenever we put the contact on there, the piece that's going to clip in over here, this is going to be the top of it. If you don't do that, and you just cut this and you clip that thing on there, sometimes you'll clip them on in the wrong spot, and next thing you know, you'll have that wire kind of bound up when you're trying to clip it on. So this is a helpful little mark to make them so that they lay exactly where you want them to be. So let's just make sure here. Well, I say that, I don't know if I like that or not. We may have to wipe that off. This is part of that thing I was telling you guys. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Oh yeah, I like that way much better. We may even pull that off, put that up under. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. No, we're not. We're gonna put them up here. I am gonna go under that temperature switch wire, and we can double check. Yeah, that one still works. So we're good for that one. So let's move on to number 2. That one is over here. Well, I'm going to actually do passengers, our driver's side first. So we've got 1, 8, 4, 3. So if we put that one on there, we could potentially just put that one on just like so. We'll make our mark. And then Sharpie line. Almost need a new Sharpie. Yeah, we're going to get a new Sharpie. Times are tough around here.
Now, I realize, of course, that times are tough for some these days, but this isn't the answer.
1, 8, 4, 3. So we'll put that mark on there and then draw our line back on that thing. Yeah. 3, 5. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5. Now that one, I want it to curl around a little different. We'll do that 1/2 inch over and our long line on the top. And that's number 7. So that's going to have to go back over here. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7. Ooh-wee. Let's put that one back kind of like where it was. I kind of want them to, I don't know. I think I need to draw that one up a little bit. Absolutely do. See? Sometimes you gotta refine everything. 1/2 inch over. Draw our line. And then we're gonna lay that one up there. With these kind of at the same spot. 1/2 inch over. And our line on there. Now it's time for us to put all of the ends on those awesome plug wires. Now, when you buy a kit like these Street Fires that we picked up from Holly, they'll come with normally 2 different style boots. One is the older type that's, let's say, for a point style, and then there are the ones for an HEI, 90-degree ones. And that's what we're going with on this thing. They come with this fancy little end that you get to crimp on and put on this thing, and it even comes with a fancy little tool. Yep, pretty snazzy. Now, this tool also is set up so that you can cut it. Pretty groovy, ain't it? Let me show you how this thing here works. Come over here. So here we go. We're going to take this thing and put this piece in it first. Slap it in our vise and just make it so it don't move. And then, grabbing one of our plug wires, you guys may remember we put some marks on it. Mine are way down here. So you can take and lace this thing through there.
This is max headroom.
Now we put that mark on there that went across it, and then the line. So we're going to come up to that little line we made. Take a pair of side cutters, clip it, pow. Then razor blade, set it on here, and then rotate your wire. Now you want to make sure before you pull that off that it's cut, so twist it. You'll notice it kind of spins off. You just twist it around and pull it. See? That easy. Then we got to do that to the rest of these. But for the sake of making the end, that little line that we had, you can take that thing, take your little wire, and fold it back onto that mark that you made. And then the head of this, or the back of it, that's where you're going to put clock it. That's what I was saying. Like, if you don't want these things twisted around, because you can twist that wire that we were talking about. So again, pull this back down here, pull that over top of it, and then I usually take a pair of pliers like these and squish it to kind of hold it on there for a minute. Then take your little part here, slide it out of it. It's new, so it's a little stiffer. And then slide that dude into here, and if you'll notice, that thing's gonna work some magic. And put this back into the vise. I've got both of these little shoulders up top. And we'll just let it do its thing. You tighten it up till that jaw bottoms out into there. Take it back apart. Wiggle this apart. Take this thing out of there. And look at there. Looks pretty darn professional. Now I get to do this 8 more times. Yep, 8. This is number 1. And I got to do a coil wire. So I have 7 spark plug wires and a coil wire. See, you thought you were going to have me. All right, I had to go grab me a little bit of a rag. The final thing, once you make your plug wire ends, is going to be putting on the little rubber boot. Now, this can be quite like a task. I ain't even going to joke around with it. I've struggled with this for a while until I kind of figured out my cool little technique. Now, all you really need to do is to take a little bit of dielectric grease, push it inside of the hole, and then put a little grease around the opening here. And what will happen is that stuff around the opening, whenever you take this little end and stick it on there, well, it will plunge through there and it will pull and kind of just lubricate it up and make it kind of slippery. And look, your end's in there, and that didn't take much effort. You just wipe off this excess and you're good to go. See what I mean? That don't take much time at all. And I ain't gonna kidding, I've put them things on till my hands were hurting and had to take a break. So just doing it that way, you know, you kind of figure things out whenever you're struggling with stuff for a little while. So, not that that's super techie, but I'm here to tell you, if you want to make you some plug wires, that'll save some fatigue on your fingers. Now we need to put this contraption and those contraptions back on the engine. I want to take a little bit of some patience. But I have a question for you guys. And what it is, what type of car guy are you? Are you a Ford dude? Are you a Mopar man? Into the bow ties? You know, me, people ask me all the time, you guys may already know that I do like some GM stuff. I am one of those. That's what my old man is. He likes some Chevrolets. But I'm also kind of I'm a Mopar guy. I do dig some Mopars. And the reason I like a Mopar is probably not what you're gonna think. It's because of the personalities. Now, from the times that I was growing up, you could tell if you went to a shindig or a party or something like that, you could pretty much pick out who drove what. And oftentimes, them Mopar folks, well, they were planning to have a good time. And, you know, them big loud colors and all that are out there with them, that's kind of another thing of them. Like, they're a little bit flashy, and yeah, I know they're not for everybody. Guys, I ain't even put this first plug wire on this thing. I'm still trying to get this silly bolt in this thing. But yeah, what are you and why? Why are you what you are? Like, what made you be a Ford guy? I'm not a Ford guy. I don't really hate on those who are into Fords. I just tell people, you know, you got to start on something, you know. And it's good to start on something. If you have to throw it away, you aren't really out much.
How dare you?
Calm down. Calm down. But no, seriously, I do like a couple of Fords. I like 32 3s and 4s. I like a flathead Ford. I do like those. There's something nostalgic about them. And I like a 51 Mercury. I know that's not really a muscle car, but man, that's a bucket list ride for me. I also like 69 and 70 Mustangs. I like a fastback one, and I like it because it's a little bigger car. The 66s, the 65s, and they're kind of like cute in a way. They've always reminded me of a, don't hate on me, but it's really like your sister's car. Like, that's who always had them when I was growing up. There really wasn't any dudes that had them. It was always somebody's daddy bought their daughter a Mustang, and it was a 64, 65, whatever. So, again, I'm not trying to hate on you out there, or whatever it is. Man, I'm struggling with this silly thing over here. Maybe it's because I'm talking about a Ford car. Some of you guys are throwing some bad juju out there.
Remember the whole karma thing?
That's okay. I'll get it. I'm still not drive one of them Mustangs. What made you who you are? Like, what car did it for you? I'm just kind of curious. Not really gonna pass any judgment. I'm not the guy that's gonna hate on you for it. I mean, I might beat on you a little bit. Y'all get that. Y'all know why. Y'all know it's just in good spirits. Gotta hurry this up so you guys get to see this fancy handiwork we've been doing. You know what they say about cross threads, tight threads. Whew, that makes me nervous. Just thinking about that. Got that 1/4 inch grade 8 bolt though. Whew. It takes something to twist it off. Not saying we can't. I'm just saying I don't want to. Just snug her down. We can put in our plug wire. Snap it, snap it. Some of these are a little something. Do you want to hear that nice little sound? Got my fix. Whoa. Gotta put these away too. Sorry, Ruggy. Well, guys, I know that was kind of a pretty basic little setup, but I showed off a cool little tool, and I sure hope you like the underside of the hood. Well, plug wires that are on that thing. Now, we've spent mainly time. However, we did have to buy 2 of those kits, but that's what it takes when you're building cool stuff sometimes. Takes a little extra effort, and a few extra parts. Guys, I appreciate what you guys are doing with me, you know, following along, hitting that subscribe button, and you guys don't forget to check out that other show, and keep it between the ditches. Whew, my hands are a little sore.